Tim Walz versus Nick Shirley. It is going down. If you're unaware, well, we're going to get into it here in a moment, but I'm probably going to give you information you have not seen. I have been digging and doing a lot here, and I'm going to keep this as short and succinct as possible to just get to the point, because this is crazy, and I want you guys to stay on top of what's going on here. This is super important. I'm going to give Bible verses at the end that kind of tie in. I hope you guys can hear from this video what DHS is doing, what Tim Walz has said about all of this, and kind of what some of these specific centers that Nick visited, what's going on with them as well. It is crazy, and there's so much. But before we get into it, my name is Cliff Buell. If you're new here, welcome. If you are not new here, welcome back. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like this, and share this with somebody who would like to see it. First off, I want to talk about Quality Learning Center. This one has probably been getting the most attention. And this video here, you're going to see what's kind of crazy is how people in the public of Minnesota on the ground are responding to Nick while he is trying to expose fraud, which we should all be grateful that he's exposing fraud. But listen to this lady's response. Listen to this.
Learning Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open up.
They said they spelled learning wrong.
Don't open up.
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up.
Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up. We have ice.
And what do you think about this place being licensed for 99 children
Don't open up.
and getting $4 million
Don't
over
open
the
up. It's ice.
$4 million in the last 2 years?
Go away.
What do you think about that? Are you in
Go
favor?
away.
Are you in favor of that?
Go away.
You know
You're
what it-
not welcome here.
Are you-
Shame on you.
Are you in
Oh my
favor of
gosh.
$1.9
Shame
million
on you. It's
going
ice.
illegally,
Don't open up.
fraudulently to this business that has Quality Learning Center but can't even spell learning right on the door?
Don't open up.
Ma'am, we are not ICE.
I don't care who you are. You don't belong here.
I belong here just like you belong here.
Don't open up. It's ice.
This is crazy, man. They are clearly not ICE. This comment here, I think, sums this up well. The lady yelling here is one of the problems of this country. We are never going to advance nor fix the problem in this country. And it's true. If people are going to act like this, you can have the data, the facts, the truth right in front of their face. And they're saying, hey, look, we're clearly not ICE. And we're just here to say, like, these are the millions of dollars that this childcare center is getting. And this seems like it's fraud. Instead of wanting to look into it, she's concerned about them being ICE and protecting illegal immigrants from repercussions. So absolutely insane, if you ask me. And in just a moment, I'm going to show you what DHS is actually doing right now. But first, with Quality Learning Center, I wanted to talk a little bit about them. So this is Tiki Brown. She is the commissioner for the Minnesota Department of Children, Youth, and Families, and she actually oversees all of these centers and the funding that's going to them and all of those things. After the video went viral of Nick Shirley exposing these places, this was her response specifically about Quality Learning Center. Listen closely to how she says they closed a week prior.
No problem. You had mentioned Quality Learning Center having shut down a week ago, and a separate one, which you didn't name specifically from, I guess, the video that had closed down earlier this year. Can you provide us some more color on what the motivations were for closing those two facilities down?
So I don't. So I will say we generally don't disclose information if we have a current open investigation. That's in order to preserve the integrity of the information that needs to be gathered. So I won't go into any detail about whether or not any of these have any open investigations. I will share that our team was notified that Quality Learning Center closed just over a week ago. And I believe the details that were given at that time were around space concerns. And that's what was shared.
There you have it. She says they closed down a week ago due to space concerns. Not to mention that this center actually had a ton of violations. I don't have those pulled up, but you can look into that. They had a ton of violations and were still receiving funding, but now they just apparently closed down a week ago. Well, if that's true, then why do we have this? So this is taken from a news station where they interviewed the son of the managers, I guess, of Quality Learning Center. And he is stating that they are open, and if they come back any other day, there'll be cars in the parking lot and kids will be there, and just that Nick was there when they were closed. But the commissioner just said that you guys have been shut down as a week ago. So which is it? Are they open and operating, or are they shut down, or is it fraud? Anyways, just listen to this briefly of what the manager has to say.
11 a.m. Obviously, there's no cars in the parking lot. If you look around, there's cars now. Yeah, because our employees are here. Our
There's
children
kids
are
going
here.
in.
You guys can come tomorrow. You guys can come on Thursday. You guys come back Monday. If there's not this many cars, let me know. There'll be this many cars.
So it just goes on to expose that there are lies happening here, like because somebody's not telling the truth, right? All of these things can't all be true. So here's a video that DHS posted yesterday of people on the ground actually going to a lot of these places. This is a business that they went to that was next door to one that was they couldn't get into. They couldn't get a hold of anybody. So they were just asking if there was any affiliation. And that's really all the video is. I won't actually play it for you because it's nothing really happens in it. I wanted to showcase this video of Nick going to this specific daycare because the woman here who opens the door has clearly been beaten. And there's something I want to say about it. I'll play the video for you, give you my thoughts, and then we'll go into actually some of the claims that Tim Walz has said both before and after all of this has gone down.
Future Leaders Early Learning Center. This building received over $3 million. Hello.
It's crazy.
How are you? I would like to see if I could bring little Joey, my son, little Joey here. Is there paperwork or can I check out the daycare? No. Like.
So quickly, I just want you to see, it looks like clearly right here, she's been hit. Her lip looks like it's bruised. It looks like even on this side, she might have some bruising. And then on her hand, there's definitely some bruising here. This woman has definitely been beaten. And unfortunately, this is not uncommon in Islam. It actually states that you are allowed to do this kind of behavior. And it's very unfortunate. This is not meant for Western society. I think oftentimes we don't really see this. And here's where we see it firsthand right in front of our eyes. And so I just wanted to highlight this. This is very sad. Pray for this woman, really just pray for all of these people, that they would come out of the deception, that they would come out of the fraud and the deceit and the lying, and that justice truly would be served here. So I want to show a clip quickly here from the vice presidential debate that Tim Walz says something very interesting. So just take a listen to this.
Go to the businesses and ask them. As far as childcare on this, you have to take it at both the supply and the demand side. You can't expect the most important people in our lives to take either our children or our parents to get paid the least amount of money. And we have to make it easier for folks to be able to get into that business and then to make sure that folks are able to pay for that. We were able to do it in Minnesota, and I'm still telling you this. We were listed as the best state. We're still in crisis on this. A federal program of paid family and medical leave and help with this will enhance our workforce, enhance our families, and make it easier to have the children that you want.
So you heard it there, bragging about making it easier to start daycares in Minnesota. And then, of course, we have here his tweets from 2023, where he says, Minnesota's economy doesn't work without child care providers, so we're giving them a raise. We're providing $316 million in direct funding to boost pay for child care providers, all while building a stronger child care system for middle-class families. Amazing. And then we have this video of Tim Walz responding to Nick Shirley's video, and then Nick Shirley actually responding to what Tim Walz says. Watch this.
This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy.
Sounds to me, Nick, that Governor Tim Walz is saying that you and others that are out there trying to expose this, you're doing it because you're white supremacists. What is your response to him?
Yeah, Tim wants votes. There are entire apartment complexes where white people have been pushed out of these apartment complexes because Somalians have taken over where they can go get votes from these people.
There you have it. You're a white supremacist if you're against the fraud that's taking place because it's Somalis who are committing the fraud. And so just because we're calling it out for what it is, that makes us white supremacists. It's very backwards. It's gaslighting, the true sense of the term. And it's kind of crazy that this is where we are, where you could see that there's so much fraud happening in your own state. And the people who are calling it out, you just can label them as racist. It honestly makes me think there's more to it than just the votes too. Like, yes, I do think he's going to get the votes from these people, but I also think that he's probably getting some sort of financial kickback from this. Now, that is speculation. I don't know that for facts. There's been no proof of that. This just seems way too sketchy for there to not be something more to it. Because of Tim Walz's rhetoric like that, you have situations like this, whereas Nick is trying to ask to put his son Joey in a daycare, they tell him no, and because of his skin color, watch this.
I'd like to know if this is a legit business.
Me, I'm scared of you too. How come I explain everything?
You're scared of me?
Yeah.
Why?
Because of your curry.
Come on.
Because of my color. You said you're scared of me because of my color. Does that make you a racist?
Yeah, no.
But you said you're scared of me because of my color.
I'm not saying you're racist.
You said you're scared of me because of my color. That makes you a racist.
I mean, you saw it there. She literally told him to his face she's scared of him because of his color. This is what this is causing. Now, every white person here that's questioning the truth is a white supremacist. And lastly, before I get into the Bible verses, I wanted to show a clip of this video from Kaizen. I think that's how you say his name. He does a fantastic job kind of breaking down what is going on here, why it's happening with the Somali community specifically. And he just speaks from a place of understanding. And I just love what he has to say here. And so I wanted to share a clip of it with you. Check this out.
The fraud was obvious, but practically no one called it out. Why? Come on. Isn't it obvious? It's because they're black immigrants and people are afraid of being called racist. Duh.
The people here are so afraid of being called a racist or an Islamophobe, and they're afraid of their own shadow. And I don't understand. This is our future generations are going to have to pay for all this fraud, and They just want to bury their heads in the sand and go on and just not worry about it.
Federal prosecutors say the total fraud could be as high as 9 to 10 billion. And people are tiptoeing around it, but this fraud is being perpetrated by members of a specific group, Somalian immigrants. Now, Governor Walz says pointing this out is white supremacy. No, Governor. Pointing out fraud is principled. We're not criticizing you because of race. You're using race to escape criticism. Now, as someone whose parents immigrated from Africa, let me explain something. Humans are hardware. Culture is software. Our hardware is fundamentally the same. Our software is wildly different. America's software prioritizes universal principles, the nation state, and the rule of law. That's the Constitution. The software of developing countries often prioritizes tribe, heritage, customs. That's okay, but it's different. I've been to Ghana 3 times. My parents are from there, and I feel like an alien when I visit. Because same hardware, different software. In many places in Africa, if you get stopped by cops, bribes are expected. Governments are dysfunctional because they're run by people who value tribe over nation. And when I visit, I think, man, am I grateful to my parents. They didn't come here to take, they came to integrate. They didn't raise me to be African American. They raised me to be American. That's not the mindset of every immigrant.
معها قضية إلهام، معها قضية مينيسوتا، معها قضية غير مريكان، قضية إلهام وقضية صومالية.
These people choose their tribe over this nation. We should only admit immigrants running compatible software. People who don't just ask what America can do for them, but what they can do for America.
I just think this is a necessary thing that needs to be heard is you can't come into our nation and just expect to do the same things you were doing in your nation when we operate in a completely different way. It's not compatible. It doesn't work. You have to be willing to adjust to some of these different ways of operating, which again is why Islam is not compatible with the West. But I digress. And I want to talk about some Bible verses. First, let's look at Luke 12:2-3, where Jesus says, "But there is nothing covered up that will not be revealed, and hidden that will not be known. Accordingly, whatever you have said in the dark will be heard in the light, and what you have whispered in the inner rooms will be proclaimed upon the housetops. Whatever is done in the dark will come to light." So when you are scamming, you are doing fraud, whatever it is, it will eventually come to light. And even if you get away with things here on this earth, it will be made known when you have to face the final judgment. And so it is very important to understand this should be conviction in our own lives. None of us are perfect. None of us have the perfect integrity. And so when there are things that we do in the dark, say, would you want this to go to light? Is this having integrity? Am I being honorable here? Am I honoring the Lord? Am I honoring maybe someone who I'm doing this against? So it's just a good reminder that, man, you do not want to get caught up in things that are dishonorable and dishonest and where you're trying to hide secret sins in the dark. You don't want to get caught up in that. Next is Proverbs 11:1, and this says a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. And there's about 4 Proverbs, I think, that talk about these weights. And that's because the markets at this time would use weights to determine how much things would cost. And so sometimes merchants would use false weights and scam people to charge them more money for whatever it was that they were selling. And so dealing with money, the Lord is very clear here that it is important to be honest with how you're dealing with your money, with transactions and different things like that, because a just weight is his delight and a false one is an abomination to him. So he's not playing around with this. You do not want to play around with scamming, with fraud, with anything like that. And lastly, I wanted to highlight Proverbs 21:3, to do righteousness and justice is desired by the Lord more than sacrifice. We know that we serve a just Lord, one that is perfectly just in his decisions and his rulings. And so it is very important that we seek justice as well. It's amazing how God can balance being gracious and merciful at the same time as being perfectly just. And so obviously we want to strive for that. We do want to show grace and mercy where necessary, but we also want to make sure that justice is served. And there are true, real consequences on this earth for committing crimes and causing problems with people. That's just the reality of the way it is. And that is justice being served many times. So I hope you learned something from this video. I hope you see kind of what's going on. Wanted to give an update, tackle some of these different areas. I know I kind of brushed over a lot of these things. I didn't want to take a lot of your time. And I hope some of these verses you can kind of apply to your own life and maybe find conviction in areas personally where you can improve upon these things. Let me know what your thoughts are about this. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more unraveling about this for a while now. And I am hoping that justice is served to the appropriate parties and that they are held accountable. And I'm hoping that righteousness will then go forth, that the Lord will appoint some people in these positions across the country, but specifically Minnesota, that will do the right thing at the end of the day. And so please be praying for what is taking place here. Be praying for this truth that is being exposed, and ultimately pray that these people would come to know the Lord. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you watched to the end, you're an absolute legend. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed, like and share this video to someone else who would want to see it. I love you so much. God bless.